Yes, more confusion over mask mandates. Republican governors say they were caught off guard by the CDC's sudden change to the rules last week. Big businesses are now split on what to do about people covering their faces. Former Surgeon General Jerome Adams says Biden really screwed things up.
The CDC made the right play call, but they fumbled the ball at the 1-yard line. The communication was just, quite frankly, abysmal on this. We were completely blindsided by this. There was no nuance. And again, you've got whiplash from last week to this week. So I think there needs to be some improvement in communication, but the science is sound.
And President Biden not helping to clear up the confusion.
Ultimately, those who are not vaccinated will end up paying the price. The vaccinated will continue to be protected against severe illnesses, but others may not be if you're not vaccinated. Some people may want to continue to wear masks, even if they are fully vaccinated. That's a decision they can make. Some businesses may want to continue to require wearing masks. Let's all be kind and respectful to one another as we come out of this pandemic.
So, Juan, I was listening to that. It's the first time I heard that. Turn off your phone, Dagan. All right. In this case, like when you listen to Biden, there's like, hey, do it if you want, do it if you don't want. It seems to me, we've said this before, that it's actually going to be up to Americans to lead because we cannot be sued. We cannot be canceled. Is it time, Juan, to start burning our masks like they burned bras in the 1960s?
I'm trying to make. Wait, we can't be sued, so why should we? I got confused. Why did you say that, Greg?
Because corporations and politicians are worried more about covering their butts than uncovering faces. Score.
Oh. Okay, got it now. So I think that a lot of people, from what I saw, is that a lot of people still are concerned. Even though the CDC guidance came out, people do have concerns about protecting themselves and their families. I can understand it. I thought it was really good news today that in that little bit that we just heard from Biden, he said that for the first time now, you know, the cases, infection rates are down in all 50 states. Deaths are down in all 50 states. And vaccinations, he said, we're now at 60% of the American people, at least one shot. I think that's fantastic. I think that's evidence that we're making progress. So, I mean, you know, I hear the critics say, hey, why isn't Biden telling people they can do without the mask if they're vaccinated? He's been slow to tell us to take off the mask. Then now I'm hearing people say, hey, I think he was too fast to tell us to take off the mask. So at some point I think, hey, maybe this is just politics because I'm getting dizzy trying to make sense of what the critics are saying.
I don't know, Dagan. I haven't heard a single person say he's been too fast with anything. But we predicted this before.
I don't know. Keystone Pipeline.
Oh, the Keystone Pipeline. Absolutely right. Yeah, that's a good point. The spokesperson for Pepperidge Farm Goldfish is right on that one. Dagan, we predicted that like anytime there's going to be a surge or a surprise case, the media is going to kick into their fear-mongering profit models like, you know, Bill Maher has been diagnosed with COVID after he was, you know, got this test, and that's like got to scare everybody who already got the vaccine. That we're always going to go through this.
Right. I ignore any story about Bill Maher. I ignore his show. So I hope he's okay. Sure he is, because he's vaccinated, correct? In terms of the Democrats said governors and Lori Lightfoot was clearly not happy with this mask guidance out of the White House because, again, maybe they weren't consulted and they're starting to lose that kind of control and power that they've, at least some of it, they've accumulated in the last year. But some of these Republican governors who are complaining about the announcement out like, oh, it was too fast, stop whining. You shut down an economy, a state overnight. This is a simple recommendation. It's mask was on, now it's mask off. Be nimble. When the outcome is in your favor, stop complaining about it. Know when to shut up. And by the way, California is taking a month to implement this mask guidance, these CDC guidelines. So I guess that's based on how long people still wore those "I'm with her" T-shirts.
Yes, I still have mine. Remember, I got one, and I got one in Ohio. It was beautiful. Dana, aren't people hiding behind this abundance of caution when it's an abundance of fear of litigation?
Sure.
That's all. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we've been talking about liability protection for a long time because basically all of these companies, well, in a way, they were waiting for the CDC to say that if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear masks anymore. And so that actually, I do think, gives some companies, like the ones that we put up on the board, Target making the decision today to say, okay, well, the CDC said this. The criticism about the CDC and the moving too fast was really coming from the left, from the scientists. I mean, it wasn't as much, even though I know, Dagan, that you're right, that some of the governors were complaining about that. And it does seem like all of a sudden the government is saying, okay, actually, business, you land this plane. You figure it out for us. But that might be okay. I think the one thing that I really like to get some answers on is just 2 weeks ago, or last week, Rochelle Walensky, she's the head of the CDC, she testifies in front of Congress, and they're grilling her about the mask mandates, and she's just stalwart. Absolutely not. We need to wear masks. We need to wear masks. Then all of a sudden on Wednesday night, they tell the White House that it's okay now. And then they wait till Thursday morning to tell the president, then he rolls this out at 1 o'clock on Thursday. To me, the science didn't change in the last 4 days. What changed was the political winds. And I would imagine that I'm not against the decision that they made or the announcement that they made, but I think we should all just be honest about what really changed here, to me, was the politics.
Mm-hmm. Jesse, don't you find it strange that you never can really predict a political issue that becomes kind of like a phenomenon? And the fact that the mask is now a kind of a focal point that creates so many different, well, actually two factions with some other ones in between. But it is kind of interesting that it becomes more of a symbol. It's not a political symbol. It's individual freedoms.
You're right. The country's either scared or confused. And here's why. I went to a wedding in Nashville this weekend. You get on the plane, the cockpit tells you got to keep your mask on the whole flight. And the stewardesses just keep feeding food and beverages down your throat. So half the people in the plane have their masks off. And then you can't go to school. And then you got to go to the bathroom, and you're basically grinding on someone to get out into the aisle seat. But politicians say you can't dance.
Yes.
Right? And then I get down there, and Vanderbilt is having college graduation, and they know the transmission's nothing outside. And the college prez is vaccinated, and he won't go up on stage and hand out diplomas. He's too scared. He sits down. The students, 22-year-olds, double mask, broad daylight, get up there, wave, and then they mail them their diplomas in the mail. And then on the way home, I go through security. I still have to take my shoes off.
Yes.
Because of the shoe bomber years ago, really?
Yeah.
And then they pull me aside for additional screening. And they wipe me down to see if I have explosive residue on my hands, like I'm Jihad Jesse or something. Meanwhile, you can cross the southern border and they will buy you a bus ticket to New York. So I get to New York, I turn on the news, and there's like a slashing spree on the subway. Blood everywhere. Cuomo comes out and says, hey, don't forget to wear a mask on the subway. Meanwhile, like, he's jailing people for not social distancing and touching literally every girl he sees. And then his partner in crime, Bill de Blasio, he's bribing people to get vaxxed with fast food. Meanwhile, obesity is like the #1 component to get the coronavirus in the first place. So you have people either confused or scared, and politicians just pit you against each other to win elections.
Greg, in the TSA's defense, Jesse was looking really rough on Sunday morning at the airport. Slightly suspicious with the glasses and everything. Just
guilty.
I think Jihad Jesse's going to get a repeat on this show.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.